What about it, YouTube? Alright, this is trial number 2. I tried to use my new laptop and to make a video, and it's all choppy and fucked up. I got Windows 8, I got a Sony Vaio with the fucking i5 or some damn thing chipset. I don't know why the fuck it can't work right. I don't know why shit just doesn't fucking work right. Okay. But trial number 2 of this video, this is dedicated to Bernard Chapin of Chafing in my pants. The inferno in my pants is chafing, so I blocked Econ Recon because all I wanted to do was comment to him and explain to him in nice terms how this defense of the right, the political right, is just as retarded as the defense of the political left. Because in his mind, everything is left and right, and he's correct that the left political whatever has adopted feminism. That's correct. But he ignores that the right facilitates everything the left has ever done, and the left facilitates everything the right has ever done, and that every time that they argue, it's just a made-for-TV propaganda, round and round retard fucking experience that has nothing to do with anybody really being against each other. They're all smoking cigars and having dinner with each other, just like, professional wrestlers, that's all it is. It's tag team fucking wrestling, professional wrestling, made for TV politics, and it's completely retarded. And as I was trying to explain to him before he blocked me, I mean, come on, dude, what a fucking, you're supposed to be Mr. Debate. You're supposed to be, I didn't come in there and say anything assholish to you. All I said was that the right has done nothing to repeal NAFTA and GATT. It's done nothing to bring jobs in manufacturing and textiles back to America. It's done nothing except facilitate corporate welfare while you bitch and moan that some guy's going to get a free lunch because you paid taxes and the left took your money and gave it to some lazy fucker, and so he got an EBT card, and that's fucked up. All right? That's your view. That's your view that the right has the solutions and that the left is the ones fucking everything up. But it's both of them fucking things up. It's just they all have their package that they have grabbed onto, and they take their package down the football field to fuck things up on the right, and they take their package of things to fuck things up on the left. And so what I said in my comment was that the left's responsible for the moral deterioration of the country with championing homosexuality, gay rights, and feminism, and whatever criteria fucking bullshit that they promote for some political minority. Okay, so they have that everybody's supposed to, bathe in deviant behavior and degeneracy because it might hurt someone's fucking feelings if you don't. Okay, that's the left. I understand that. Okay, and you'd probably agree. And then there's the right that facilitates corporate welfare and corporate interests. Okay, and allows them to go overseas and take all the jobs, allows them all kinds of tax breaks and bailouts when they're too big to fail. Am I correct on this? Okay, and I'm not making a judgment here necessarily on that. I'm not saying that corporations shouldn't get welfare when they fuck things up, and I'm not saying that individuals shouldn't get welfare when they're fucked up. Okay, because what would we do without those institutions? They are too big to fail. We've got to have those institutions, or everything just goes to hell, right? And why would I care if somebody is hungry and needs to eat? Why would I want to take food out of their fucking mouth, Bernard? Okay? So all I was trying to do was point out these things, that the right has their agenda, the left has their agenda, and that the right has done nothing to bring morals back to the country, that they facilitate the moral relativism of the left. Okay, so they're not doing anything to shape things up that direction. They're not doing anything to bring back the jobs. They're not doing anything to lessen the pain and struggle of the average guy in this country. And when you listen to Vladimir Putin, he's like more George Washington than George Washington. He's more American than anybody I've ever heard speak, because he understands what's necessary for a strong national, socially cohesive government to survive. He understands that you've got to have the religions and the diversity, and this unipolar or globalist or New World Order shit is ridiculous. He understands that morality and personal responsibility are key to having a successful move into the future, along our evolutionary path, if you will. Okay, not that I would ever be talking about Darwinistic evolution, but just in our social evolution, we've got to have cohesiveness, and that the foundation of that is respect for moral law, and that there has to be that to have civilization. Okay, so back to the story here. In my comments, I was trying to briefly explain to Bernard that you cannot have a situation where people don't get to eat. All right, it's not you're taking from me in taxes and you're getting a free lunch idea is ridiculous, because if you take away those people's ability to eat, they're going to riot, number one. Number two, the food that's sitting there waiting to be sold is going to sit on the shelf, and it's going to get old, and they're going to have to lay off people at the grocery store, and you're going to enter into a deflationary spiral. Okay, let's think about things this way. Your military budget that I'm sure you champion, because we've got to fight brown people and kill innocents in the Middle East, or what, I don't know. We won't have a petrodollar anymore. Okay, but the petrodollar and the fiat money is beautiful. Other than the usury, it's beautiful. Okay, because it's able to meet credit upon demand. There's not a ball and chain, there's not a commodity tied to it that's going to hold it down like a ball and chain, where they're going to have to introduce other frauds like fractional reserve lending on top of that. Now, they talk about fractional reserve lending with fiat, but it's stupid. It's a misused term when it comes to fiat, because you don't need fiat to back up fiat. There's not a vault full of fiat that they use. Every dollar is borrowed into existence. Whether you go to borrow a car, based on your credit, that's a new dollar that came into existence. Or whether you are a government that goes to borrow for your military, it's borrowed into existence. That's where it comes from. And then eventually it'll be taxed out of existence. Okay, so that there's not this overwhelming amount of money that now is going to cause some kind of inflation or hyperinflation like these kooks talk about all the time. Okay, that's not going to happen. As long as the money that is borrowed into existence is met with the proper demand and credit, then there's no ill effect on the economy. Especially when you're borrowing something that's going to end up ultimately in a zero, like a bomb, okay? Or that's going to end up in a zero, like you paid some military guy to go buy some food, and then he made a turd with the food that he bought. There's nothing there left. There's no equity in that. So it's a zero. Or if somebody's sick and they need to get fixed, there's no equity after he gets fixed. He's fixed, now he's productive. It's actually a good thing for the economy, because we have somebody who's productive again running around, not somebody who's sick. So let's look at the numbers. We borrow $1 trillion a year for a military. It's $100 billion. It would take less than 1 billion, less than 1/100% of their military budget to allow every man, woman, and child in this country $250 a month of food expenditure, or EBT, or welfare, whatever you want to call it. That would mean that 1/100%, $1 billion, could make sure that nobody had to ever worry about sustenance in the way of food ever again in this country. Isn't that amazing, Bernard, how powerful fiat is? That we could just do that. And it wouldn't cost you a fucking thing, dude. It wouldn't have nothing to do with your damn taxes. And that the Gold Commission in 1986 under Reagan admitted that there isn't $1 of taxation that goes to any social programs or anything else that has to do with government spending. That it's all borrowed into existence. That's how it works. It's the beauty of fiat, Bernard. Are you listening? You realize that every man, woman, and child could have $500 a month put towards health insurance expenditures for less than $2 billion, or 0.02%. As far as health and food goes in this country, would that not be like a utopia, Bernard? Okay, you want to call that socialism? You want to call that, leftist? You don't want to call that utopia, dude? When that's what it is? How is it not socialist to borrow money for a military where we spend more than every other country on the planet so that we can run things, so that we can babysit and push people around and have hegemony? That's not welfare to you, dude? That's not welfare that some dude joins the military and gets a check from that borrowed money? That's not welfare to you, dude? You're not going to bitch and moan about him taking that money and buying him some fucking food? But some dude that's down and out because all the jobs are gone and he can't find a job, he's unemployed, that guy shouldn't eat because he's lazy or some shit, and somehow it cost you. It didn't cost you a damn thing, dude. It didn't cost you nothing. And it wouldn't cost you nothing. And they could solve the problems in this country and make it so nobody had to struggle like this. Like this. Because it's all a zero. There's doctors waiting to fix your problem. All you need is the money. All they'd have to do is print the fucking money. The demand's there. The credit's there. The people are there to facilitate the problem. Why not? The groceries are on the shelf. There's people at the checkout waiting for you to come and buy the shit so that they have a job. You're hungry. All you need is the means and the ways to do it, Bernard. Right? And if you don't have a job and you aren't making money so that you can do it, then why not? Why not have EBT and why not have welfare? Huh? Why not keep the ball rolling? Why not keep the grocery store ordering product? Keep the people's bellies full. Keep them fat and happy so that they don't riot. Why not, Bernard? How's it hurting you, dude? That don't make sense to you? That's socialism to you? No, you're retarded. You don't understand the way fiat works. You don't understand the way borrowing money works. You don't understand any of it. You understand the way taxes work. You bought into all of this Fox News fucking propaganda that has you thinking you understand the way it works, but you're such a weak individual that you block somebody that's trying to educate you politely. So that's this video, Bernard. It's dedicated to you. I like your shit. I like rocking Mr. E. You guys make a hell of a lot more sense when it comes to men's rights than the MG Toe guys. The men going their own way crowd, you are right. Rocking Mr. E is right. They are just a mere reflection of the feminists. They do nothing to solve the problem of the destruction of the family. They facilitate the destruction of the family, just like feminism does. And they facilitate the division between the genders, which does nothing to bring us together into some socially cohesive fashion. So it's not a viable route to go. It's not anywhere near a good thing. It's just as bad as feminism. So you guys are right about that. And I like that you attack them. And I like that you argue against them. And some of the things they say do make sense. But it's always the same thing. You take a little bit of truth and then you mix in some bullshit and then you sucker in a crowd. Right? And that's what the right has done with you. They mixed in a little bit of truth and a ton of bullshit, and you bought into it. And so that's what you champion. But you're just as wrong with your defense of the right as Barbar is with his defense of not opening doors for women or validating them by smiling and saying hi. It's all fucking ridiculous, dude. Completely fucking ridiculous. Those extremes are ridiculous. Your extreme's ridiculous. Barbar's extreme's ridiculous. Stardust's extremes are ridiculous. On and on and on. So you need to learn something about how the left and the right are facilitating each other in a WWE ridiculous made-for-TV wrestling match. And that's how it works. Unblock me. Don't be such a chafed up puss.